Hello, I am Patrice Dawkins-Jackson. Welcome, disruptors. I feel like I'm in good company. Are you aware that someone is waiting on who you are becoming? And taking the step to be here today demonstrates your commitment to being an agent of change. You are essential. There's a famous quote by Paul Batalin which states every system is perfectly designed to get the results it gets. And if we take a moment to just step back to reflect on our system right now, it is in shambles. The surmounting list of inequities that we see in our system, all systems, especially in education, are disheartening and unjust. However, you and I have chosen to disrupt these systems by sharing our passions, gifts, and talents to impact the lives of our most valuable assets, our children. The road to doing this work is frequently less traveled, but we take it anyway. We have decided to make a collective stand to be on the right side of history. We are abolishing our fears in the pursuit of hope and a better, brighter future for all humanity. My journey as a disruptor began almost 18 years ago. That was my first year of teaching. I remember that I loathed our new teacher induction program. Yes, I was vocal about it. And yes, it ruffled some feathers, but I didn't stop at just speaking up. I noticed that it didn't serve the purpose of supporting new teachers to be effective and grow with the eye towards better outcomes for our students. Instead, I went to my administrator and shared an idea to improve it. Green. I was completely green. We're talking about my first year of teaching. But I was able to co-design a new teacher induction program. Grounded in data from our users, the program bolstered an 86% retention rate for our new teachers over the span of 3 years, which meant less transition and better outcomes for our students. Later in my career, I experienced a change in administration, nothing new. Under their leadership, significant shifts took place. I distinctly recall one incident that I just could not stomach. Our leadership felt that field trips were a waste of instructional time. Mind you, I worked in a school where we had children who didn't ever own a box of crayons or let alone left 5 miles from where they were currently living. So I was deeply disturbed towards the apathy that she had, in reference to the apathy that she had about providing enriching experiences for all of our students. So much so that she even cut our field trip budget. What would have been the end for someone else was fuel for me. Day and night, I searched for grants, contacted community members, reached out to parents and businesses to rustle up funding to provide enrichment experiences for our students. And I was successful. Our children had in school and out of school explorations that connected to our standards, sometimes twice a month. I raised enough money that every student in our grade level never had to pay a penny. Our learning was without walls. I was disrupting learning in a positive way. I was disrupting apathy with solutions. In 2012, I dared to apply for this highly competitive fellowship at the US Department of Education. Even though that same administrator told me had never even earned the respect of my peers. Those painful words, they hurt me, but I didn't let them stop me. I was on a mission to bring the voices of teachers and students to one of the most powerful tables in education. I was awarded that fellowship twice, which doesn't happen often in the history of that fellowship, and would sit eye to eye with the secretary and share real stories of inequity, lack of teacher agency, and the fear that plagues schools because of the overbearing accountability measures and pressure districts were under. It sparked my deep passion for teacher leadership and advocacy, which led me to being on the launch team that created Teach to Lead. I saw the life being sucked out of our profession, and I couldn't sit back and just not do anything. I couldn't let that happen. So I began supporting teacher leaders, teaching them how to advocate for themselves, teaching them how to strategize to impact change and overturn policies. I taught them how to speak to issues in a way that the person that they were speaking to, they could hear that message. It could resonate with them because they knew how to speak their language. And I understood that that fellowship experience, though it was mine, it wasn't about me. It never was about me. As I had more experiences, I felt stronger and more compelled to bring more and more and more teacher leaders along because it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. It was about who I was becoming to empower someone else to disrupt the systems we find ourselves in. Fast forward to now, I have served on several boards and done all this cool stuff, but nothing compares to the opportunity to disrupt the status quo. I guess you could say I have a little rebel inside of me, and I like it. I like it. I actually love it because it pushes me to ask the hard questions, the uncomfortable questions. It pushes me to stand and be still in my truth about what it's like to navigate systems as a Black woman in these spaces. And it helps me be a conduit to those who are coming along behind me, who are on their way and willing to travel on that road that's less taken. And so I say to you that the time is now. The time is now. There is no time to waste. Our lives, your life, our children's lives, it depends on it. Yes, is it scary? Of course it is, but do it afraid. Yes, will some of the things you say make people uncomfortable or your actions? Sure, it will, but that's where growth and learning takes place. We have no more time to waste. Every time you lift your voice, you are paving the way for someone who is coming along behind you because someone is waiting on who you are becoming. It's time for us to disrupt some things, y'all. Thank you.